episode of Just Talking to You. I'm your host, Big Smooth, and I am not here alone. I'm here with the crew and some guests today. Say what's up, crew, and our guests.
Hi, hi everybody.
All right, guys. I'm gonna swing from my right to my left, introducing everybody. Starting off with our own Miss Toya. Introduce yourself, Miss Toya.
Hi everybody. It's your girl, Miss Toya. That's it.
Nothing else?
That's all I got. Toya.
We go fire you. You better start coming up with
You
something
not-
catchy.
And
Okay.
you know, that's catchy. Miss Toya is very catchy.
That's what's up. Okay, we're gonna swing it over to my girl to my left. Dredai, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome for coming. It's your girl Dredai, and sugar does go on grits.
Get your No, they don't.
Yes,
Stop
it does. Yes, it does.
Daddy too.
You need
And
to.
butter.
Oh my God.
That's right, sugar and butter.
All right, we're gonna introduce to you a couple of guests tonight, and then we finish it off with Christorian. First of all, our first guest, Dr. Moby the Explorer. Introduce yourself to our fans and drop your hashtag, Miss Moby the Explorer. Dr. Moby the Explorer. I'm sorry.
Hello everyone. I am Moby the Explorer on YouTube. I'm Dr. Moby the Explorer on Instagram. I'm excited about this conversation. I'm super excited. That's it. That's all.
All right, Dr. Moby, thank you. Our next guest is Miss Danielle. Miss Danielle, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle. I have a podcast called Love Always Wins. You can find me at the handle EyeDonell, EYEDONYELL.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Miss Danielle. Okay, we're going to swing it down to my boy, Mr. Anonymous Nobody. Introduce yourself.
What is up, Big Smooth? Thank you for having me into your arena this evening. I am Mr. Anonymous Nobody. That is an acronym for MAN, M-A-N. My YouTube channel can be found by searching for Mr. Anonymous Nobody. Find the logo, find the channel, enjoy the content.
All right, man. Thank you for joining, my brother. And last but not least, we're going to swing it on over to my man, Christorian. Christorian, introduce yourself, man.
Hey everybody, it's your man Christorian at Christorian Twitter, at Christorian1 Instagram. It's everybody's mama's favorite. I'm the reason why she get up in the morning and she make you leave early. I'm just letting you know. Thank you very much.
They go
everybody.
bust your damn head, man. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna quit.
Don't get mad at me, get mad at your mama.
Hey, you ain't gonna quit to some middle schooler double back playing hooky and bust your damn head walking in his mama out.
No, I'll bring 9 later, so they all right.
Oh, all right. You gotta bring more than 9 later for these middle schoolers this day, man. You better cut that out.
He over there eating his snacks. That's what he doing.
Yeah, he is eating the snacks.
This was fruit snacks. I'm the reason why they gone.
Making them making them nasty grits with sugar on them and stuff.
I am so sorry about your life, Big Smooth, that you don't like sugar grits.
You not put cheese in your grits too?
Right.
I put cheese in, those are dinner grits, but breakfast grits.
Is it different between dinner and breakfast grits? I thought grits was grits.
There's a difference between dinner and breakfast rice.
If you have an acquired taste for one, it's gonna be cheese or pepper. Everybody makes them differently. It just depends on like.
I make them both ways.
Cheese, butter, and sugar all in them grits.
But breakfast grits are sugar grits. Dinner grits, like if you're gonna put it with fish, then that's when you bring out, the salt and the cheese and all that other stuff, the chives and everything that you put in dinner grits. It's like dinner rice and breakfast rice. 2 different things.
I got some y'all probably all missing out on. Cream of rice. If you haven't had it, I suggest you get it. I have it if it's backup if I ain't got no grits. If I don't have no grits, that's the backup. I'm just letting you know. It's a good backup.
Explain that for some of our listeners that may not know what cream of rice is, Mr. Anonymous.
Cream of rice is similar to that of cream of wheat. It is just made of rice.
Okay.
And cream of wheat is the truth.
That it is. After grits.
With the brother on the box.
After grits.
Danielle, what you think about that?
Well, I was just going to add, my family down in Tennessee, they would make cheese rice in the morning. So they would add the sugar and the cheese. And then if they made rice for dinner, you have your rice.
Oh wow. Okay. What about you, Mo B?
Well, growing up, I ate sugar in my rice. But as an adult now, I can't stomach the sugar in rice or in grits. So growing up, grits and rice had to have sugar and butter. Now I'm just salt and pepper.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Well, how you guys don't have to keep your mics on mute. We just free flow and go with the flow. But how was everybody day today? I know we up here, me and Christorian, we Danya, you up here in Peoria as well?
I'm over in Bloomington.
Okay.
So not far at all, down the street.
So you probably got some rain too. We got some rain up in these neck of the woods today.
A little bit.
Okay. How was it down in the Lou for my Lou crew?
Thunderstorms.
It was a good day. Today was a good day.
A good day? You smiling. It must have been a good day. In spite of the storms? In spite of the storms?
In spite of the storms was perfect, actually. It was perfect.
Okay, that's your comfort?
It was perfect, but today was a good day because this week at work, we've been on lockdown since COVID started. So none of the family members have been able to see their loved ones. So today was like the first day we actually let them physically see them. Oh, so wow. It was really overwhelming. And then so today I went and got this lady, she's like nonverbal, to see her son. And her son, it was so funny. He was like, you know, I know you're probably busy, but when you get time, can you go get LaToya, Elliot? And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'm her. And so he came up to me and he was like, I just want to tell you, thank you for sending me videos, you know, calling my family to send videos of my mom. And he gave me an envelope with $500 in it. I gave it back because we can't take money from family members, but it was nice that he even thought to do something like that. Like it was nice. It was a good day. That made me feel.
Hey, the next time you get an envelope with $500, damn it. You know what I'm
telling to meet you at Walmart with that same envelope.
You can take that. You can take that over my mama's house.
You can't take it from family members.
Don't take it. What if they drop it and you find it?
You giving it to my mama.
Or they drop it. You like, oh, look at this envelope.
I kept giving it back to him, and he like put it in my jacket. He was like, "No, keep it." I was like, "No."
Listen. You found the envelope in your jacket. You don't know how it got there. You wasn't paying attention. You never took money from him at all.
Okay, you guys just took a good moment. No,
no, we didn't. You messed up that man's blessing. You know that.
Right.
I did.
Yeah, that was not the time to be.
He was gonna get that sevenfold and run us over.
Right, you messed up that man's blessing because that man's blessing was by blessing you.
Yeah, he was paying it forward.
I didn't block it. It was a blessing enough that he appreciated. That was good enough.
Next time,
what you do next time is you say, "Hey, look, what kind of car do you drive? Find my car, right?
Put it under the windshield.
Just slide it under there. Put a little rock or something so it don't blow away." And we never saw each other today. Done.
No, sometimes family members tend to say what's like you kind of find out quick that they gave a gift or a kickback to someone. Like you do have family members that are very thinking they're doing the right thing, but they're really not. So it's best to not do that.
Next time, just tell them you got an auntie named Viola who stay over in Bell Fountain. And I give you Miss Viola address and everything. And Miss Viola know, hey, she know what to do with blessings. I'm gonna tell you this for a fact, baby.
It was a beautiful gesture, but no, couldn't do it.
Okay. All right then. I mean, that's what's up.
That's dope that y'all had stormy weather though, because when it's storming outside, I got to do one of three things. I got to snore, snuggle, or sizzle. One of them got to happen inside.
Wait a minute, what you say?
What's
sizzle?
The sizzle?
What's the sizzle?
Explain
the sizzle. What is the sizzle?
Later on, I'll let y'all figure it out.
He wants to color outside.
I know the snoring, sleeping, snuggling is cuddling up with a little tender. What is?
Something about to start cooking inside that brain. I'm just in.
Oh,
color outside of the lines.
Oh, sizzle, sizzleing.
I'm sorry.
I was just asking, man.
Go read your Bible twice.
Oh man, you talking about sizzling? You need to read your damn Bible, brother.
I don't do nothing in here but pray and
Bible
read my
and church
psalms.
not even be in the same sentence.
Hold up,
Huh?
Toy. What you say you do, man?
That's all I do is read my psalms and pray, and that's it. That's all I do in this house.
What Bible are you reading from, honey?
I'm gonna step back because I
Thomas
don't want to get
Sutra,
hit
ain't
with
that the
this
Bible
thunderstorm.
that's that one? I seen it in the religious area of the library. That's what that mean, right?
I do
Mean
not
like
want
new
to get.
You
Bible?
know,
Ain't that what that translate to?
people put books in the wrong spot all the
Oh,
time.
I thought it said new Bible in a different language. I was tripping.
Jesus be offense.
No.
We gonna make sure that we step back when the Lord send that lightning bolt come to knock that green skull cap off his head. We don't want no parts of that.
Oh my
Lying
god.
on the Bible and stuff, man. Oh my God. All right, guys, we gonna jump off into our topic for the day, man. And this is a very, very good topic, man. And we was talking about it a couple times. Me and the crew, we talked about it on our show on Saturday and everything, on Sunday. But the topic of our conversation of this evening is code switching. And a lot of you guys may not have heard the term, but a lot of you guys may be familiar with the term of code switching. It's just modifying your speech to adapt to social cultural norms, or just changing the narrative of your behavior to fitting into an environment or something. So we go swing it off. I want to know who. I'm gonna swing it off with Miss Moni B, the Explorer. How are you? Hey, what's your take on code switching?
You know, I feel like David Chappelle. Black people have had to code switch all of our lives, right? He made a joke and he talked about how we are bilingual. African Americans have had to be bilingual. We all are. We have a street vernacular as well as a job interview vernacular. So yeah. I think that code switching is something that we do and have done. If you're in corporate America or any job, you have to learn the code switch. But I think my concern with code switching is I have some issues with it at times because I think that it does not allow you all the time to be your authentic self. It does not always allow us to show up in a space and be who we fully are because we're busy trying to fit into that cultural norm of whatever environment we're in. So that's kind of my take on code switching.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Mr. Anonymous Nobody? What's your take on code switching?
I would agree with the last comments. As us being all Black African American descent, we are actors every time we leave the house. Whatever situation you may come in or who you may be around, you find yourself adjusting your vernacular or your tone based on that audience, especially in corporate America. I call us hybrids. I call myself a hybrid. If you are educated, so more so, say not in the city, let's say you went to school in a county, but you live in the city, your speech pattern changes multiple times a day. And after a while, it blends and you don't even realize you're doing it because it becomes innate at that point. But absolutely, we are the best actors in the world because we act every time we leave the house.
Absolutely.
I like that. Absolutely. Man. We are very good actors, man. What about you, Miss Danielle? What you think about code switching?
I agree with both of them. Me personally, I've had to grow up in many different spaces, dealing with, all types of races. I don't like to use the term, but I'm gonna use the terms because, we're on a mass platform, but just white and Black and being the only Black in classes. And my mom taught me to act white. Like I had to straighten my hair when she wanted me to get jobs, and I had to wear certain things. And then now that I'm an adult, and now that I have learned and kind of tapped into myself, I don't care.
Yeah.
For me, especially with corporate, I've learned how to speak the language because that's how they operate. That's what they need. That's what they have to do. So I'll speak, but you will hear me and you will feel me. And they do. Most of the time, people don't even say anything to me more because they feel my energy. And I've just gotten to a point to where I'm comfortable with myself And I had to tell my mom plenty of times, even as a high schooler, like, no, no, I'm not doing this today. Sorry.
Right.
And, that was it.
Wow. Hey, that is very good. I like that. Dredai, what about you? What's your take on the code switching?
I think now it's more of a sort of a know your audience type of situation, more than it is code switching to fit in. It's more about knowing who your audience is, and you have to speak to certain people in different ways. And so we code switch more than just black world to white world or something like that. We code switch way more than that. Because we have to entertain several different types of personalities. And so we switch on different aspects of our personality to meet somebody else where they are. As far as going white world to black world, I was raised to speak clearly for the majority up through about 10th grade. I went to majority white schools. I never felt like I didn't fit in, you know. And then when I went to a black school, I didn't feel like I fit in. I was the oddball, and it was always brought up. Well, you talk like this, and you do this, and you listen to this kind of music. You're weird. And so now being older, of course, I've more or less, what's the word that I want to use? I've embraced, blackness, because before I didn't know that it was something different to embrace. My parents literally did not raise me as you're black, you're black, you're black, you're black. I was more given you're a Texan speech. I don't know how to explain this, but if you're from Texas, you understand what I mean. And that transcended me being black. So, but I've, really in my, growing up after being in the experience where I was at an all black high school, I did begin to embrace that a little bit more, and to now a lot more. So even when I'm in a corporate situation and I fall back into those speech patterns that are more acceptable in corporate spaces, that's actually falling back into the original person. So it's kind of backwards for me,
So you switch backwards, basically, huh?
Right. When I'm with black people, I speak a lot differently than I do when I'm around white people. And I'm now in a situation where I'm in a corporate area, but I work around mostly black people.
Okay.
So that, so I understand it. I just see it. I think I see it differently. I don't, just 2021, we're not looking for acceptance anymore, but we know who our audience is.
Okay. I like that. Knowing your audience and everything. Good job. What about you, Miss Toya? What's your take on the code switching?
I definitely agree with Dre. Dealing with certain audience, it definitely helps with how you approach things and how you handle conversations, because you could be with your friends and your family and you can still talk in a normal manner, but when you're at work, you still have to be professional. But to an extent, me personally, I sit in a room with maybe 12 white people and 2 black girls, and my personality is still the same because I carry myself the same way every day. I went from an all black school to an all white school. So me personally, I don't really switch up. Like, I get criticism from my black family. Oh, you act like a white girl. You listen to country music. You do this. You do that. And even with my black friends, oh, you hang with white girls. You probably not going to want to go to a hood bar with us because you don't do this. It's just my personality. It's just my personality. I definitely switch up a lot, especially dealing with going to my son's school. You get a lot of criticism as being the black parent, the black young parent. Do you actually know, and are you educated at what's going on with your child, or are you educated at what's going on when you're at work? They're used to a white woman in my position, so sometimes they kind of downplay if I understand what I'm doing. So I have to get on that level, and I'll be like, have to come out of that box to get on their level to let them know just because I'm black, I'm smart, I'm educated. So I do switch up from time to time, but I'm always the same because that's just me. That's just how I've been raised.
Okay. What about you, Christorian? Thanks, Miss Toya. What about you? Yeah, I know this is the one what you was waiting on, Christorian. Code switching, man. What's your take, brother?
Um, as being someone that prides themselves on always being who they are, and I won't equate professionalism in code switching to home life to being acting black or acting white. I won't do it. The way that I talk is the way that I always speak. Is this is who I am. I may be less boisterous if you see me in person. I may be a little more reserved to myself, a little shyer, but I'm always speak this way unless I get pissed and big words start to come out because I'm pissed off and just I read the dictionary a lot. And I've never thought the fact that I've had to change up because someone looked at me in a certain way and felt I wasn't as smart. I happen to have an IQ that's not real low. I'm not like saying, but my IQ's, I have a pretty good sized IQ. Literally been tested. So I've always gone to the thought process of, I may be been going to conversations thinking that the other person may not be as knowledgeable as I am in certain situations. It doesn't matter who the people are. But I don't like code switching when it comes to the fact that you feel that you have to change the person you are at your core to be accepted by another group of people. That pisses me off. Like if you feel that you have to start talking like Tom Brokaw when you go into the job interview versus, Barack Obama has been the president. I will say this about Barack Obama. I have my criticisms, but I'm going to say about this about the brother. The way he speaks, he sounds like a black man that's educated. He didn't change nothing. But if I go into the job, I want to sound like a professional black man. I don't want to sound like, if anyone's ever seen the movie, oh my gosh, what was it called? Y'all remember Kyle from Living Single? And he had the movie where he turned, like as he was getting more
when he turned into the white guy and everything.
Started turning into the white man. That shouldn't be you to where you lose yourself because you feel that you have to fit into this other society. My African self is going to be my African self. I'm not going to feel like I need to be European to fit into another group of Europeans. You're just going to have to adjust to the way I speak to you. Because if you ask me my point of view in certain situations, you're going to get my truthful opinion. If you don't want to know about how I feel about religion, don't ask me. If you don't want to feel about how I feel about injustices that African people deal with, don't ask me. Don't ask me to comment on it because I'm not going to hold my tongue about it. And if we want to keep it that way, just keep it that way. But I really like the code switching thing bothers me. And I know black people have to do this. You're going to have to act a certain way when you're, but I don't think this is code switching. I think this is mindful of your environment. If I'm getting out in the car and I see 30, 40, cats up on a corner, I'm going to keep myself a certain way. I'm not going to walk up eyeballing people or mugging people because I know where I'm at. I'm by myself. I need to get into the house, at least or see if I recognize somebody, speak, and go about my business. But I'm not going to, I'm not going to go and start, chastising. Y'all look crazy. Y'all need to pull up your pants. So like, I'm not,
you better not, because you're going to get whooped. They're going to whoop that ass, boy.
You just have to know where you are. You just don't want to be into a situation to where you're changing who you are to fit in. That was my issue with code switching. And I hung around with a lot of different people in school. I truly did. I had several different sects of friends, but my sects of friends were bent on my interest. If anyone actually knows me as a person, my interests are all over the place. I had my comic book friends. I had my hooping friends. I had my football team friends. I had friends that just wanted to hang out and just ride around, and they may have been different colors. But I was always Chris. But our subject matter, what we spoke about, may have been different.
Okay.
And I think when you think about code switching in its original form, so that's a word that was actually coined in around 1954. So that word originally was about multilingual people who were able to speak multiple languages and do it fluently depending on where they were. So I think we kind of transferred the meaning of what that word is as it relates to people of color. So mostly when you're thinking about, when I think about code switching, I think about the formal as well as the informal syntax. And and we all do that. I can speak with my friends in an informal manner and that doesn't change me, but I know when I'm in front doing presentations to administrators, I can't speak all the time in informal language. So that's what it means by code switching. So a lot of times it has, and so there are two different meanings of it. So when I think about it, I think I want to know what version are we talking about? Are we talking about from a linguistic standpoint? Because if so, most of us code switch.
Everyone does.
Everybody does.
Everyone does.
It's common.
Everyone does.
Right? Yeah.
So you get put up by the police.
Right.
It's the kind where you
and it's funny
to feel like I want to. Well, people always say the statement I hate to hear any black person say is people always mistake me for sounding like I'm white. I hate that.
I get that all the time.
And I want to string you up upside down whenever someone says it, because if you're doing that, then you're doing it on purpose, because you don't sound like a genetic European person. You do not.
No, I think that
your voice is your voice. Keep your voice.
I think that comes down to education of the person that you're talking to. Usually, the uneducated usually are ignorant to things like that. When they say things like, "Oh, you sound white," no, I sound educated, because you don't understand the words that I'm using. So, not to belittle them, I usually end the conversation at that point. But piggybacking what Mo B the Explorer said, it's the corresponding action that goes along with the language switch. So not only do you change your cadence as far as language, your actions and behaviors change, and that's where I have a problem.
And laugh come out, you get that different laugh.
not even a laugh, just it's like you just start doing some cornball stuff, and it's like, especially if it's somebody you grew up with, like, come on, be for real.
Right. Now you got a lot of people that may misconstrue code switching for playing the game. Because when we get out here in corporate America, you got a lot of people say, "Hey, you got to play the game,"
and that's very true. But like I said, when you go home, that's when you be yourself. Like I said, when you leave the house, you're acting. So let's say you live in the hood. Once you go out to the nicer neighborhoods, you're probably gonna turn your music down. You're probably going to pull your pants up. There's certain things that you just probably wouldn't do. It's not necessarily that you're code switching. You just, okay, I'm in a different environment that's probably not tolerated out here, so let me adjust.
Adjusting to that environment.
So code switching and actions are two different components.
Yeah. It sounds like it kind of ties into also, because I think I kind of got triggered by this, by what Ms. Toya said. It also seems like it's levels, because now it's more about stereotypes at times, right? So you're fitting in here, you're going here, you're hanging out with people here. Oh, you're in politics now. Okay, well, oh, you're in music now. Oh, you hang out at the club now. So it's even now just dealing with stereotypes. And if there is one person that can't stand stereotypes, it's me. I don't put a title on. I'm not anything. My name is Danielle. And wherever I am, just like Christorian, like wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, whoever I'm with, that's what we're doing versus, so I think it does tie into stereotypes now.
But you know what? It's so funny because we have a social worker at our job. She's a little hood. She's very hood. And the job, they're really big on mannerism and being able to talk to the family members and be able to be compassionate. But they don't like to deal with confrontation. So when they don't want to deal with certain things, they go get the black volatile woman to handle problems when they are the administrators and they are the ones who should be taking control of situations. They don't want to deal with it. So they go get someone who don't have a problem with being sassy and putting someone in their place. And then after that, it's appropriate at that time, but any other time, it's not okay.
So who gets this person though? Who would go get this person? With upper house administration, or who would go? Upper administration.
They won't even come out of their office to handle the situation. They'll call her phone, and I've seen it multiple times, and they'll have her go out and deal with it. And she's just thinking she's doing something. They're using you because they don't want to deal with issues. They're not saying, okay, you do a wonderful job, we appreciate you. No, they don't want to deal with the issues. And then once it's resolved, they go in like they really took care of the situation, but they just didn't want to deal with it.
They just put a Band-Aid over the situation. They didn't really.
But they use the black woman who's going to be defensive in a conversation to deal with people, and then they think, okay.
Let me ask you this question real quick. Would they use this same African American young lady at shareholders meeting? Would they use her to talk to some of the people at the shareholders meeting?
Actually, yeah, she knows her job. You see what I'm saying? There's like you said, there's levels to it. She actually is very educated. She knows her job, so they value her opinion, but they also use her because of her attitude. And the thing is, she knows her job, but she's very ghetto. She doesn't. I know that's ignorant. I know that sounds rude, but she doesn't know how to turn it on and off, if that makes sense.
So she keeps it on all the time or something?
She does not turn it off. She keeps it on the whole time.
So she's just a pit bull.
And that's her personality. That's her personality, and you can't knock her for it. But sometimes you have to know when to pull it back and to be a little reserved. And she keeps it on 100%. And that's why they like it, but then they don't like it. You see what I'm saying? They have complaints about it, but when it's needed, they think it's okay.
So let me ask you this question. So how many times has she been promoted? Because if she's this way, this loud, this obnoxious person, and don't know how to turn it on and turn it off, it also refers back to...
Actually, they've offered her a promotion recently, and she would deal with the family members more often.
Okay.
But she should take it. But I think it's because she's comfortable where she is, and the behaviors that she has is kind of tolerated. If she goes to this position, this demeanor she has is not going to be accepted.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I just got with that, because I look at it like this. When I go in, it's the way I conduct myself at work, and it's the way I conduct myself at home. I'm professional at work. I talk professional. I talk like I'm educated, a man with an MBA and a master's and everything. I talk like I'm educated when I'm at work. When I'm amongst coworkers, peers, when I'm amongst leadership, when I'm giving presentations, they can say, oh, he's educated. He's very knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about. He's very good with words. His dialogue is amazing. Now, if I go up like with my uncle or my cousins and amongst my brother and everything, my dialogue may change some. And prime example, I was talking with them. We was just laughing and joking. And then I had to take a professional call. And then I was like, and I talk professional and everything. And the first thing they say, man, you just got a gift, man. Every time you can turn it on and off. And I look at it like this. I look at it as by you're not being Uncle Tom or a sellout, or some people may say you cooning and everything.
It's more fair than Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom is actually a good thing, but as you were, sir.
Okay, thank you, Christorian, for sharing that little piece of information.
It's Sambo, not Uncle Tom. Sambo was a bad guy in that book.
Okay,
but everybody should watch Uncle Tom. That was a good.
Uncle Tom was that dude, man.
It was that. You don't change who you are, man. You just switch up and adapt to the environment. You got to be like a chameleon. You got to adapt to the environment. If you're in the room with presidents and CEOs, you're not going to dress like, you're going to dress to par. You're going to come in and you go have your A game. You're going to be able to talk and agree and talk. That's how you do it. Yeah. But you're not going to just change up like that.
I've heard you before. And there's a difference between having a professional vernacular and cooning. There's a huge difference. Code switching and cooning is something that I'm vehemently against.
Yes.
You being able to just, use professional terms, of course you're not going to say, man, get your ass out the break room. Or, you're not going to say that at work.
Absolutely.
We need to hear up this motherfucking meeting.
Right.
You're not saying that at your job. Like just normal professional speech.
No.
What you do is actually, you don't change your vernacular. You always sound like you is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
If you change up who you are because you want to fit in, is a big difference. You sound like you just sound like a more professional you. You might put an extra period or a comma inside the statement you just made. But that's about it. There's no too much of a difference in your behavior.
Right. I appreciate that, man. But one thing I always tell people, it's something out here, and I was looking for her name is Dr. Tolbert. She from American University. And she said, I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, but it's called the first eight rule. It's the first 8 rule. And what the first 8 rule is, people judge you within the first 8 feet.
Seconds.
The first
I did
8
a presentation on that.
You're
before,
right. The
honestly.
first 8 feet.
I did.
The first 8 seconds and the first 8 words that come out of your mouth.
Yep.
So now they automatically know how this we know how this conversation is getting ready to go. And one of the biggest code switchers and was our President Barack Obama. He knew, and I was looking at this thing when he was I was looking at this clip when he met the USA basketball team.
Absolutely.
Prime example.
Yes.
When he met the USA basketball team, all the coaches, he shook their hand like this. When he walked up to KD, he gave KD a pad and everything.
And
when he walked to LeBron, he did the same thing to him. Chris Paul, he did the same thing. But when he walked up to the coaching staff, which was of a different ethnicity, he shook their hand and everything.
A personal relationship. I think it's more of a relationship. That was a "Hey, I know you" handshake versus "Hey, nice to meet you" handshake.
No, but you gotta look at it like this: when the champions came to the White House and everything, when the NBA champ came to the White House, when the NFL, I mean, his dialogue was complete. I mean, he is a master at it, and he had a
different change
master.
In his own household.
He can
think about that. His household had a different demographic.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
His household did have a different dynamic.
He didn't grow up necessarily with the demographic that looked like him. He learned that later.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. What about as far as like getting promotions? Because I talked to someone and she said, I go to work the same way. I talk the way I am. I said, okay, first thing that hit my mind was, are you able to be promoted? Have you been promoted? Have you got a promotion? And she said, no, I ain't got no promotion. I got raises. Big difference. Big difference. Now, if you're talking the same way all the time and you are still sitting in the same position that you've been in for the last 7-8 years, I think it may be a little small issue or something. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think you have to, that again goes to knowing who your audience is. You know, I worked around a lot of the people who had a hand in promoting me were rednecks. And
wait a minute, hold on. Did you
I'm just being real. I'm being real.
I mean,
okay.
You said it nice,
and if I said that,
damn, you just said
there's no nice way to say redneck.
Right. But if I said that to the people that I'm talking about, they'd be like, you darn tootin', I'm a redneck. And this is my point.
Okay.
I had to, first of all, being a female, working in a male-driven industry that I did at the time, one, I had to learn to be a lot tougher. Now, I did, and I mean, even that goes to code switching. I had to learn how to be tough without being an asshole. Mm-hmm. I had to learn how to be firm, fair, and consistent. And so that was something that was prized. Here it was, a Black woman, because there's a lot of Black women that came into that industry that would get caught up. Sad to say, but it was. So here I was, a Black woman, educated. I was tough. You know, I could handle inmates, no problem. Mm-hmm. But then too, once I started going up and getting into the administrative positions, I could also speak to people.
Yeah.
And I could, if I had to go to a facility that was down in East Texas, then I knew how to talk like this to people because that's how they talk. So I have to talk to you over here in East Texas the way that you talk to me. Okay. If I had to go down to South Texas, I know how to speak Spanish. So I got to go down here and speak Spanish to you guys down here.
You ain't never spoke Spanish to us.
Don't start.
¿Qué quiere?
I'm sorry. Start getting
¿Qué quiere mi dice?
Talking Spanish.
Huh?
She might speak in Spanish. Brian gonna start feeling some type of way.
Oh, I don't want him to feel any kind of way like that.
I don't know Spanish. Don't. You just stereotype me. You just stereotype me.
I didn't say that. I said if she starts speaking in Spanish, you're gonna start feeling some type of way.
How you know?
That's not a stereotype. So you don't think that she started bringing out that little Hispanic drawl out
You don't know if I know how to speak Spanish fluently or how many years I spent down in Mexico or Puerto Rico or the Dominican.
I tell you what, we probably should all get some remedial entry level Spanish because the Latino population outnumbers us in the U.S.
That's it.
That is a fact too.
That is a fact.
We are number 3, folks. Just putting that out.
You can go different sections inside cities like Atlanta or Chicago where there's no signs in English.
Right.
There's entire sections. There's nothing in English there. You're like,
right. But I sent in the chat. I sent in the chat. I mean, in our group text, y'all. I don't know if y'all watch Big Mouth, but I love Big Mouth.
I just seen you put it in the room. I just seen that. I watched that episode. Leela Wraith directed it.
Huh?
Leela Wraith directed that.
Yeah, she did. But it's that whole song about code switching, and he talks about just different type, not just even black or white people, but he talks about older people. He talks about in that song, and that song is so self-aware, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But he just talks about the different groups of people, and he has to turn on a different facet of himself in order to communicate with those people
turning into
effectively.
A stereotype too. I like how he got checked. Like, dude, you sound corny.
Right.
Just so regular. You sound.
But even the Lena Waithe character, she did it when her little girlfriend came through.
So clean. Yeah,
even she did it.
She did right at the end.
Right.
Bethany. Hi.
Hey, I want to ask you guys a question. So, based off what we were talking about with the code switching, what would you say are some of the advantages of code switching? If any advantage was out there, what would you say would be a major advantage of code switching?
The number one advantage was it'll get you into places that you wouldn't ordinarily get into.
More doors.
I'll give you an example. So I play hockey, and we know it's pretty much dominated by whites. Mm-hmm. So whenever I do go play, I get looks sometimes. They may not necessarily say anything, but I can feel the energy until we play and they realize, okay, dude, he can actually play.
Right.
But being able to adjust your language and just subtly adjust your language, it takes the tension away from them, but then it makes you feel comfortable. And then you can go back to just talking your regular, vernacular. They're more accustomed to it now than say 30 years ago. Yeah. Where if you were to talk slang or talk hoods to a white person, they wouldn't know how to react to it. They actually enjoy it now. They would actually rather you talk that way than to try to talk like them.
They switch up now. They don't even talk like them.
They don't.
They don't.
It's not cool to be white anymore.
You made a valid point. It's not cool. The way you said it, Dino. That's the way the norm is coming about right about now and everything.
Think about culture. Think about how our culture is constantly rated for whatever fashion trend, music, art, whatever it may be. It's usually coming from us. They're trying to either take it and monetize it. Mm-hmm. We're taking over hockey too slowly.
No, hockey was taken from us too. Even hockey was taken.
Explain.
Okay, so Nova Scotia is the area where hockey was pretty much started in Northern America. Okay. So the thing that happened in Nova Scotia was during the time of the Revolutionary War, if you went against the American Revolution and were with the British, then they lost pretty much. So they gave them a colony toward Nova Scotia. That's where the slaves of that time that sided with the British went. They were given a colony in Nova Scotia. Over in Africa, there is a field hockey type game. It's not on ice. It's on grass and sticks. You push the ball around. Game that they had there that they were playing in Nova Scotia. But in Nova Scotia, it's cold, has me some ice there. It just transformed from that. And that's why we started hockey. I'm just in a nutshell.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Not Christorian for nothing.
You do a little bit of reading, huh?
You know, a little bit sometimes.
Okay, what about you, Moni? Mo B? What you think an advantage? Advantage? What give you an advantage? What code switching? What one of the advantages?
Well, I mean, I think I would agree with what Mr. Anonymous said, and then I think Deidre, is it Deidre?
Dredai.
Drea, I'm sorry. I think that she gave a perfect perfect example of how she had to linguistically code switch when she had to go to South Texas, or that's the benefit, is that you're able to relate to those, those that you're interacting with. So I think and I think the other benefit is at the end of the day, it makes you more of a well-rounded person. It depends on how you're looking at code switching and what version of code switching. I'm talking about just simple formal versus informal language syntax. That's what I'm talking about with code switching. Absolutely. You have to do it.
One is okay. One is dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
formal to informal is one thing, but code switching to fit in with an entire culture is somewhat dangerous.
And I'm simply just talking about being able to know when to use formal English versus informal English. Knowing when, because there's a such thing as Black English, right? There is a such thing as Black English. I go to Africa all the time, right? Brian, I'm there yearly.
If you break down the language, you sound like them. Like like we say "be." Man, you be tripping. If you put it in the African vernacular, that's where they put their conjunction. It's different. It just like translates out into English the way we say it.
And a lot of them speak, they're informal. A lot of it is like broken English, right? Or pidgin English. We've heard of that. So, I mean, there are just certain words that if I go and say those words, they're not familiar with it, because that's something that we use in the Black American culture. And so you have to code switch to make whatever the conversation and the interactions you're using with them work so that they understand. And so I don't see that piece. But when we're talking about code switching and we're talking about behavior changes, then that's a different story, right? I don't know about benefits of that.
Absolutely.
Right. But I don't know about benefits of that.
Right.
Well, you have to learn.
You got to. That's something
you have to learn.
You need to learn. And if you want to get ahead, not only, if you want doors to open up for you and everything, you got to be able to do things like that. And like me, Dredai, and Moni, we came from the oldest Black high school west of the Mississippi.
Absolutely.
We came from that high school.
Absolutely.
And everybody at that high school looked just like us. Right. So we had some people that went their dialect because we were in college prep. So we were considered a different breed of students compared to the other students. It was like we were on a different plateau. The way we talked, the way we interacted with each other, we had a different dialogue than from everybody else that wasn't in college prep. Not to say we were better than everybody,
but the expectation is the expectation was different.
Yes,
unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Y'all, okay, so both of y'all must have went through the college prep program. I opted to do concert choir. That's why I wasn't in college prep. And I've always felt like the expectation that would have been placed on me had I gone to college prep was kind of reduced because I chose not to, because I chose a different path. I knew I was going to college.
Where we went to school at, Danielle went to the same high school I went to. And the high school we went to, college prep, wasn't special. If that like college prep was what you were like meant to go into high school as, Absolutely. It was almost the basic education versus being in the accelerated class. Like I was in the accelerated class, and I most definitely was the only person that I looked like a period on a piece of paper.
But that is the reason why, and that's the reason why I mentioned the expectation was different, but it shouldn't have been. Yeah. That is why I said everybody should have had the expectation of college prep, right? Yeah. Or career technology or whatever. That's the way so it should have been different. You're right. It shouldn't have been different, but it was.
It shouldn't have been. We were they looked upon us, the college prep kids, and it was like a little stigma.
The talented tent.
Right, they act like we were. They say the college prep kids act like they better than everybody else.
I didn't think y'all was better because I was writing y'all's papers. Let's not get it twisted.
I think you're probably younger than me. You wasn't writing mine. You're a little younger than I am.
You're younger than us, so. Yeah, but this is the thing, though. I mean, things just really change and evolve and everything. And when we went to college, a lot of us say when you go to college, you are definitely expanding your vocabulary, just doing a whole lot of different things. I really learned a lot of stuff when I was in college. Being one of the, we only had 2 Black people on our baseball team. I went to college on a baseball scholarship. We only had 2 Black people on the team. I was exposed to a lot of things. And when I was at Sumner High School, I was like, okay, I wouldn't be caught dead listening to country music. I wouldn't be caught dead listening to this, listening to that. But I adapted into my environment. And
listening to that shit now.
Man, that's you, man. That's you. You ain't got no sense. But when I adapted and I started liking it and it started becoming part of me, who I am and everything. When I come back in the hood, if I'm put on
Sweet Home Alabama,
Sweet Home Alabama, when I put on something, they like, man, what the hell wrong
That's
with
what
you?
I'm saying. Like, if you get in the car with me, my playlist may go from Rage Against the Machine to Wu-Tang Clan to Jodeci.
Right.
Like, my songs are my songs. Yeah. If I want to hear Sandman by Metallica, I'm playing it because I like the guitar riffs. But I'm always who I am. I like what I like, and that just is what it is. I don't think it's corny because I like it.
Yeah.
Whether I want to hear Buddy Holly or Say It Ain't So by Weezer. If I want to hear that, is what I like. But I know my preference is going to be hip hop because that's where my love is at. Since I heard I'm Bad by LL Cool J. So ever since then, I went from New Edition to hip hop quick.
You square. Hey, man. Hey, man. But like Dredai said earlier, man, you just adapting to your environment. That's all it is. Just adapting.
Can I say this about code switching too?
Go ahead.
Not just the way we act, the way we hear things. Like going from a professional code switching and being around different groups of people, being around more African-centered cultures, we're going to have aggression is point blank. And we have to say that. There's like, it could be some shade thrown there, but the shade is what's said. You notice it right off when shade happens. Mm-hmm. But the shade with a smile is something that you learn to adjust to when coming into a more corporate setting. Okay. That shade with a smile is the scary thing that most people, that's my code, that code switching is the way I hear things. Like, did I just get insulted? I think I just got insulted.
No, I think the backhanded compliment.
Oh yeah, like, absolutely.
Like you start catching.
But I feel like that whole nice nasty is our domain.
No,
this is where we thrive.
Type of nice nasty, and you know this. Karen nice nasty is totally different than Keisha's nice nasty.
But that's an art form. Like it's an actual art form to doing that. Not everybody can do that.
It is. You got to get a little chuckle and everything. I mean, that really puts the icing on the cake when you're being that way and everything.
And then you want to ask, like, outside of this job, I can beat your ass, right? You do. See, if this was not what it is today, if I didn't have to work tomorrow, I'd beat the fuck out you. You do understand?
Hey, man,
it's a fine line because you don't want to go too far.
But I'm thinking in my mind, like, what? You wouldn't win this.
But you still want to let them know, like, hey, I can flex if I need to flex. Just don't get it
right.
Because I may use these big words. But don't get it twisted.
I had an example years ago when I was managing someone, and one of my employees, her boyfriend came up to the job, and it was just one day I was getting ready to get in my truck and go. I said, "Hey, yo, hey, you crazy?" We laughed about something, and then I said, "I'll see you tomorrow," and she got to work the next day, and she said, me and my boyfriend argued about that all night long because he thought this, and this. And her boyfriend was white. That's the crazy part about it. Her boyfriend was white. And he was like, why he's supposed to be professional and everything. We off the clock. I just called her Yo-Yo instead of Yolanda. And he called up there. He was like, we need to have a conversation. You don't need to. I said, do we really?
That's tough. Or
Peter. He is going through some personal stuff.
I said, do we really? So I said, I stepped outside. I said, we need to. I said, okay. He said, so, and he just went on the rant. I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna tell you like this. I say, you see these slacks, you see this dress shirt, you see this tie, you see this professional me. I say, I will take these clothes off and drag your ass over this parking lot. Don't get it twisted. I say, matter of fact, I'm gonna do one better for you. Stay right here. I'm finna go upstairs and tell your girlfriend, fiance, whoever she is to you, I'm gonna tell her she need to go home for the day. Went back upstairs. Went back upstairs, sent her home without pay.
You didn't handle that.
Huh? I sent her home with I sent her home without pay. I said, hey,
that was an unnecessary flex.
And my conversation, listen, and my conversation with her was, if you want to continue to work here at a Fortune 500 company, you need to you need to eliminate all outside people from what we do and what we say up here in this office. Next thing you know, she came back the next day. She apologized. She had him write a handwritten letter to me apologizing.
Big smooth, very unnecessary.
Smooth. He probably like smooth.
No, it wasn't. No, it had nothing to do with that, because if just say if I wasn't in the position, it could have been another manager in that position, and he did the same thing. You need to eliminate that and nip that in the bud. From that point forward, she's still at the company. No more issues, no more problems. They went on and got married, had a couple kids. No more issues after that. But it took for me to make that example of him and just let him know that,
I've been in a position where I threatened someone before and stayed professional. I had to fire someone, and I was walking them out the front door, and he said, I don't know what was on his mind, but he said to me, you know what? If this were a different day, me and you, we have at it, man. And I looked at him and I said, sir, there's cameras right there. If you were to swing at me, this would just end up on YouTube. That's all I said. That's all I said. I kept it at that. And he turned around and he walked off.
And sometimes, that's one thing you have to do. We got to be able to make sure that we are just staying on point, man, all the time. Because what I tell people all the time, when you walk into their job, like Mr. Anonymous Nobody say, you are acting every time you step foot outside every day. But when you step foot in that place of employment, you are applying for your next position, because you never know who's going to see you at that place and who you're going to make an impression on.
Everyday life.
That's the advantage, because even jobs now, when they see that you could be an asset to their company, they will pay for you to go to school. You get a promotion. It's more of a blessing. It's more for you. It's a benefit for you when you code switch in a business place, because there's more opportunities.
Okay.
Right.
Honestly,
so let's say we go to a party.
To go back to school.
Outside of professionalism, you go to a party. You notice the music a little different. You hear Pour Some Sugar on Me playing. You see Rodney upside down drinking from the keg. This is not your normal party. Are you changing your behavior in this party than you would another party with people that more like you? A party. Are you changing how you act in this party? That is the part of code switching I feel is not acceptable.
No, I don't change. I'm the same way.
You understand what I'm saying at this point? Like, not about changing professional to non-professional home place. Totally different thing. Changing you as a person in your cultural behavior to another cultural behavior to fit in with that cultural behavior. Is that what you do? Do you see people who do that? If they get around, if they get around a certain group of people, they act this way. If they get around this people, they change up and they act this way. That's what I feel is unhealthy. No, you just changing the way you place words together for your job and the way that you speak. That's your job. You're not changing who you are. You are who you are. But if you're changing who you are to fit in with another culture, that's something that's most definitely not okay.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm going to say Black Lives Matter in any situation because I'm around a bunch of police officers. Y'all should be saying it too.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I'm glad that you mentioned that real quick. I'm
authority.
I'm gonna turn. Yeah, and funny that you said about the code switching amongst police officers and everything. My dad was a police officer for 45 years, and he had a conversation with me, and it's dealing with a little bit around code switching. when you and it plays a good part about when we with everything going on with the police and everything. When a police officer pulls you over, you say yes sir, no sir. I mean, you just being respectable instead of being like, oh man, what the hell you pulled me over for and everything. Because you got some people that say, what the hell you pulled me over for, man?
People do it.
Yeah, but he taught us. He taught me. He said, hey, that officer wants to go home to his family. I understand that. He say, you talk to him. Now, you got some a-hole cops out there. He said, you're going to have that. He say, son, just listen. If you don't listen to nothing else, I'll tell you. You, yes, sir, no, sir. You be professional. He say that it may start off rocky, but if you keep on doing what I tell you to do, everything's going to be good and everything. And I never had any issues. I'm 45 years old. Never had any issues with any law enforcement officer in my life. I didn't been pulled over several times. Never had.
They feed off for energy. Just like you, they feed off for energy.
Yes, they feed off your energy and everything. And I give them good energy and everything. And I mean, hey, what about you guys? Have you guys ever got pulled over by a police officer and just your dialogue and just by you talking to them may have gotten you out of a situation?
Miss Danielle, had nothing to do with them throwing me on the car and putting me in the back of it. That had nothing to do, and I was polite. I just happened to be a little taller when he said, "Could you step out the car?" That's all that happened. He looked and his eyes did like that, and he grabbed me immediately, pushed my hands behind my back, threw me on the hood of the car, and I said, "I'm not fighting you. Why are you doing this to me? Shut up!" And like it was.
I mean, that's some dealing with a bad cop. Not all cops.
Happened more than once.
He had a chip on his shoulder. It's just you're gonna deal with ignorant people.
This happened more than once.
Yeah, but our people, man, and this is the problem with a lot of us. I'm not saying those in this group or predominantly Black people. We get hostile for no reason. Instead of just, you know what, just chill, take the ticket.
That can happen.
About your business.
That can happen. However,
that should be the code.
Other people do, forward. And they don't get treated the same. Dylan Root shot 9 people in the church, and he made it home. Yeah, he got arrested after shooting 9 people in the church. Arrested.
They got stopped to get something to eat. Don't leave that part out. They took him to get food.
They stopped and bought him Burger King.
So, being able and speaking politely to police officers, that should not be a mandated choice for you as being a Black man, but it is. That's something that we have to do, and that's something that we're taught as young kids. When I got pulled over, my hands was on the dash, bro. On the dash, sitting there looking straight ahead with my music off because I didn't want no problems. And I still was told to get out the car, even though I could have fussed because there was no reason for you to tell me to get out the car in the first place. But I'm getting out, and as soon as I did, I got roughed up a little bit and thrown in the back of a car. And they kept me in jail for an hour and told me just to leave. No charges, nothing. I stayed there for an hour, uncomfortable, then said, you can go. That was the end of it. No court, no trials, no nothing. They did that just to keep me there. Just because.
And I feel like the onus should be on the police to de-escalate situations. I know in my case, that's one of the main things we were taught was to de-escalate a situation. But you know how quickly things can change in a prison environment. So we may have been on 10, but if I had to go from one incident to the next, I had to treat those as 2 separate incidents. And I had to figure out how to calm down from this incident over here, which I don't think police are actually doing, that they're just going from here. I'm saying in mass. I'm not saying all police are the same, God forbid. But when you're going from this situation, you just had a bad situation with this stop, the stop you just had, or the situation that you were called to or walked up on. And now it's the new situation, and you're carrying that same weight into this situation. And so, Christorian, what happened to you may not have even been about you or about your height. He's still amped up from the previous situation. The previous his job was to keep. He should have brought himself down to keep you settled down here as well. And I'm just saying, I'm saying that from the standpoint of, because we used to say in the prison, they say every stop you make is a felony stop. Yes, it is. Everybody that was in there has a felony record. So we don't deal with you as if you just a horrid person. We're going to deal, the thought process is you're taught to deal with them as an individual.
And I understand that.
In an individual situation. And so that's why I feel like it's always, the onus is always, yes, we do have, you know, a responsibility to act normal. Right. You don't have to be an asshole just for the sake of being an asshole.
In social work, we're trained de-escalation training by police officers. So I know what
that's why the onus is on them.
You got to think.
However,
you got to
you're not
practice what they preach.
The steps that you're trained to do.
Well,
I know how it should be treated, how you should talk, what your tone should be, how the proximity should be when you're about to approach a situation, how you look at it, how you evaluate it. Then you lean into how not to escalate it worse than what it is, but that's most definitely not following escalation protocol or de-escalation protocol.
The one caveat that you can't account for is always the human element. And
True.
Humans have emotions, and those emotions get out of control. And like I said, just because they're law enforcement and they went through training and, you know, they have weapon training and the sensitivity training, you can give them all the training in the world, but at the end of the day, they're humans just like us. Right? You don't know what you're gonna get.
One more.
Hold on. One second, Christorian. Danielle, you look like you want to say something, sweetie. Go on, jump in there and say something.
I'm listening to everything. I look at things from a macro level. So, in all honesty, I think we should ask ourselves some serious questions as far as code switching and how many more generations we're going to teach to do this until we get our own. And until we realize that we have tied into culture, professionalism, stereotypes, when the origin of the word or the origin of code switching is dealing with language. So anything after that, you have to look and say, okay, this is a program. Because when we talk about professionalism, there was once upon a time where you could never see a tattoo anywhere. And now there's tattoos everywhere. They're putting our slang in the dictionary. So how many more generations are we going to teach to code switch when we know we were the originals? We're the original, just like Mr. Nobody said earlier, like they go off of us. They do what we do.
Yep.
That's why no one sounds white anymore, because we have breeded to the point to where white people aren't white anymore. The white people that we talk about, we don't even know what they look like.
Wow.
The white people that we see are our people. Those are our children. So the white people we talk about, and that is ahead of society, the ones that pick what comes on every single news channel, the ones that pick what comes in, that goes in every single newspaper, we don't know who those people are. Those are the beasts. Those are the monsters that we talk about, but the people that we see are our people. That's why our slang is in the dictionary. That's why they can wear tattoos at work. That's why we can talk about all types of things at work now. So this professionalism is literally almost like gatekeeping when you talk about code switching. Then you deal with culture, and it basically is keeping you out of culture.
Yeah.
Our culture. So it's just we're in a loop now at this point.
That is deep. Yeah. Hey, Moni B, you want Mo B, you want us to say so? You look like you're chopping at the bit.
No, I was just saying she's right. But the other piece of it is we actually do have a language. It's called Ebonics. It's just that we are not.
Didn't get shut down when they brought it in. They slaughtered these people.
But at the same time, it's an acceptable language. We use it. We've just been told that it's not acceptable. Yep. But we use it daily.
Do you understand what I just said to you?
Say it again.
The point of words are to communicate how I feel to you. Do you get it? Then I just successfully communicated my words properly. I just gave you proper English because you got what I had to say. There's professional English that is the norm from the people who place it there, and then there's proper English the way you speak.
That was done to lock certain people out of certain places.
Yes.
Even if you go to England and you know they've got the Cockney accent over there. Where
by the way.
And those people were locked out of certain people with Cockney accents were locked out of certain places. That's elitism, you know, and it was just tied into racism with us, but that's plain and simple elitism.
Completely no, bro. completely not, bro.
But that's, that was done to keep us away from certain places, and that's where code switching became it became almost a necessity. You had to do that because you couldn't go to work and speak the way you speak at home, and you better not come home talking like them folks at work. That was the thing and I will teach you how to speak like that at work, but what Danielle was saying is absolutely valid. But do we actually teach our children this? I don't know that I've taught my son to code switch. I don't know if I never sat him down and was like, okay, son, let me tell you how to talk at work.
I was legit taught this as a kid. I was legit taught this, and it was drilled into me. I have not done the same with my children.
Yeah. Well, can I say that
Go ahead, Moni.
So let me say from an educational standpoint of 20 plus, 21, 22 years plus, right?
Tell us, Miss Educator. Tell us.
No. And I mean, I'm not in the classroom, but I'm in all kinds of schools, right? So one of the things I can say is our kids don't really know when to code switch for the majority of them.
That's a fact.
They stay in the informal registry. They write in the informal registry.
Right.
They talk in the informal registry. It's unfortunate, though. We have to be realistic with ourselves. Until we are the creators of jobs and industries, they have to be able to speak the formal unless they are going to be entrepreneurs. Because what's going to do is, at the end of the day, we have to be realistic. We're judged. We're judged immediately when we open our mouths. So and so I'm all about entrepreneurship with this new generation, especially. But our kids, because what I do is all about research, evaluation, kids don't know how to code switch. For the most part, they're staying in the informal. And so we're teaching skills of, okay, when you go on an interview, you can't say that. Yeah. You cannot, literally, we are talking about when you write this paragraph, you can't do texting in the paragraph. They're using tech. They don't know how to transfer.
Has to be spelled out.
Yeah, exactly. And so our kids that code switching, if you're gonna teach anything, you got to teach the informal because we know the informal. We got that on lock.
Wow, man.
We got that on lock.
Man,
one thing about cops though.
No, you ain't finna say
cops. I'm saying because man. if I watch the NBA. If I watch the NBA,
man, here we go,
the way that Steph Curry shoots a three-pointer, I don't expect someone down at Carver Center to shoot a three-pointer the same way. Because why? He gets paid to shoot that three-pointer. And he's a professional shooting that three-pointer. So if someone gets mad that's not getting paid, that they have the safety of someone else in their hand, they are a professional in the situation. The way that they evaluate things and handle it is going to be different than someone else of the nay or lay terms are going to be able to handle that situation.
Yeah.
But they're human.
They have to be the professional.
But you're human. Do you go to work let me ask you this. Do you go to work every day on 10? Laughing, happy, bubbling every day, every single day. Do you go to work on 10?
I'm not like that at no time.
No, I'm just saying. But you say you're not. I mean, you weird though. But I'm just saying. If you're not finna go to work every single day on 10, there's gonna be some days you like, man, I do not want to be here today. I don't feel it. I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to just lock up in my office and everything. Hey, it's certain days, and that's what Mr. Anonymous Nobody was saying. That's the human side of it too.
Aspect of it.
That's the human aspect
of it. They have
something
called Six Sigma.
We not in no damn Japan,
man. Okay, Six Sigma with their behavior.
Not in no damn Japan, man. We're
Six Sigma behaviors. That failure percentage should be 5% or less to be Six Sigma. And they are way more than 5%. They are not Six Sigma. They are not passing these company policies.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I really want. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this last thing. If we gonna talk about the human element, what is training for then? Because I could not have a use of force, a use of force on an offender, and then go in and be like, I'm human. They would have written me up and they'd have demoted me 4 steps down, and then walked me up out of there.
But I can also play devil's advocate when it comes to the human aspect of it too, is because just say you have all this training, you know what you're supposed to do. But before I clocked in for work today, I worked at 3 to 11. I had a doctor's appointment at 11 o'clock, and they just diagnosed me with cancer. Or I just got a call from my mom. My mom only got 2 months to live. I mean, that's that human aspect of it too. We tell people don't bring your personal into work, but that's easier said than done. I've been managing people over 20 years. We always say, hey, leave your personal outside the workplace. It's easier said than done.
Your workplace has you handling firearms, then don't go to work that night.
That.
With that being said, guys, we really had a great episode tonight, man, of just with our guests, man. We chopped it up. If you are interested, you have a comment about code switching, you can just drop it down in our comments. We're going to have our special guests. We're going to have their links in our comments as well. With that being said, we're going to jump over to our quick segments and everything. We're going to jump off to our Eargasm segment with Dredai. Dredai, take it away with Eargasms for us real quick.
Woo, 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 woo. Y'all know I get on here every episode and I say this, thus and such song is in my top 5. And how many top 5 songs can you have? Me, I clearly have a million. But this song that I'm about to review tonight is number 1. This is number 1 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rest of the days that end in Y. It is in honor of the verses that went down on Sunday with Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers. My very favorite song in all this world is Fantasy by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And this is the song that I'm covering tonight. Y'all, I was raised on this song. It was actually recorded in 1977, released in 78. So this song has been around my entire life. I have very good memories of riding with my dad, listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, just having a great time. And Fantasy, I think, is their crown jewel. I know a lot of people, they got different songs by them that they love to death, but I feel like Fantasy is their crown jewel. It just, first and foremost, it comes in beautifully. They got the Phoenix horns that are playing. That's the horn section that Earth, Wind, and Fire carried with them, Phoenix horns. And they made every song special, but they come in, the song, just even the lyrics, starts off, every man has a place, in his heart there's a space, and the world can't erase his fantasy. In the beginning of the song, you just lift it up. You're like, what? You mean to tell me I got all these hopes and dreams and I can carry them with me and nobody can do anything about it? I feel like this is exactly. I feel like this is one of the most uplifting songs just all the way through. It talks about unity. It talks about peace. It talks about, just getting really, if you dig into it, by getting to know yourself, and then, you got Philip Bailey on the falsetto, written by, words by Maurice White. It was actually inspired. Maurice White saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And that's
why
actually
the album covers look like that.
Exactly.
The album covers are the truth. They speak truth in their album covers. Just
exactly.
In the visual.
So I can't adequately tell you how I feel about this song.
Doing something to you because
I'm telling you,
it has her.
It does. It really does. It really does. And to me, this is just a really great song, and it's good to hear when you are feeling kind of defeated, and especially when it comes to us as a group of people, as a culture, you go listen to that song and it brings you back to where it is that you want to go with your culture. And so it's just wonderful. Unfortunately, the song didn't chart too high in the United States. It only, the R&B charts, soul charts, it only got to number 12.
Oh, wow.
But in Ireland,
She did her research.
It got to number 4. That's the highest it charted in the whole world, was number 4 in Ireland, y'all. Oh, and wow. I appreciate my Irish cousins for taking it that far. They understood what it was.
Hey, Irish.
All right.
So that is my song for tonight, y'all. I love it to death. Y'all go listen to it. Fantasy by Earth, Wind, and Fire is gonna make you feel wonderful from the inside.
Dredai, thank you for that, my friend. Thank you for
welcome.
that. Hey, we're gonna switch it on over to Let Chris and Chill. Christorian, give us our Let Chris and Chill movie for the day.
Hi everybody, this is your man Christorian coming at you with Let Chris and Chill, where I give you something that I have looked at and let you know whether it's chill worthy or if it's just plain cold and dull. So tonight on Let Chris and Chill, I'm coming up with a classic to me, one of my favorite movies of all time. That's because I'm considered weird by most, but I don't care.
By all, but go ahead.
You're authentic and unique. It doesn't matter.
I'm good with unique. I'm good with this. This movie is called The Princess Bride, starring Fred Savage. Andre the Giant is in this movie. I can't remember the man that plays the lead. But
I'm trying to figure out.
It was a young lady back in the day. She was on Santa Barbara, the soap opera, because I know because my grandmama used to watch it, and I used to watch the soap opera with her. But she was on Santa Barbara. Came on 2 p.m. We used to watch it till about 3 when Thundercats came on. So that's how I know when that went off, it was time for Thundercats. So in this show, The Princess Bride, Fred Savage is a young man with his grandfather, the man that played Columbo. Anybody, who was the actor that played Columbo, guys?
Oh. I forgot, but I used to watch Columbo.
Yeah, he's the grandpa, and he's homesick with Fred Savage. And he was going to read him a book to make him feel better since he's home with a cold. And the name of the book is The Princess Bride. Immediately, the little boy's not trying to hear it. He don't want to hear a book about no princess. Grandpa, I don't want to hear that. And then even in the beginning, it starts with a kissing scene in the first few pages of the book. Oh, God, Grandpa. And it goes from him reading the story to the movie acting out. And just the storyline of the silliness of it mixed in with the action has still one of the best sword fighting scenes out of any movie I've seen. Andre the Giant's part was genius. Like, he was Andre the Giant, but he was always right on time with his comedy. The storyline of it, the act of revenge, it was very Count of Monte Cristo, which is my favorite book. It was very similar to the Count of Monte Cristo, the way he exacted revenge and set a plan out for his revenge, and it came into the end so that he can get his woman back. So if anyone's feeling like you want to lay with a person you have and chill out, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 ice cubes for your man, because this is a classic and it is what it is. It is up there. It's
4.5 out of 5 ice cubes.
5. A 5 out of 5 would be Black Dynamite. That's just a classic.
Exactly.
Black Dynamite is just perfect.
And then you say if you want to lay with your better half. Right?
I mean, you want to do sizzle. So sometimes it's gonna be laying and chilling and snuggling.
You sure you don't want to sizzle with them?
You sure you don't want to sizzle?
Sometimes it might be a little snizzle. You like, hey baby, lay back. Let me put my bib on.
There we go.
You watch the movie. I'll take care of this down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go with this bib.
Hey,
he just want a bib when he.
Mr. Anonymous, what you finna say, buddy?
Peter Falk. That was Columbo.
Peter Falk. Columbo.
Peter Falk was Columbo.
Yes, he was the grandpa.
Oh wow, Christorian, thank you for that. Let Chris and Chill. We're gonna finish off our segments tonight with our girl, Miss Toya. Miss Toya, finish it off and take us on. What the hell?
Well, I don't have nobody over here with a bib, but I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with real STL news or watching the news, but my what the hell is for what the hell is going on at the St. Louis Justice Center. Have you guys been seeing that on the news? So
a lot of us don't have real STL like Christorian, but me, Mo B, and Mr. Anonymous, we know.
She thinks it. Okay, so basically, assuming there's like harsh conditions going on right now, not even really properly working showers. Apparently, there's not enough food if they eat. Some people who are in there for like non-violent offenders, traffic tickets, warrants, they've been in there since COVID started, and they haven't been able to get a court date. So they're rioting, throwing mattresses out the windows, lighting fires. I mean, like, they are doing everything under the sun to get some attention. And if I'm not mistaken, this might be their second or third riot. Is this the second one? Okay, so the first one,
yep.
The first one was bad, but this one is really bad. So my thing is, my opinion, if there's people in there non-violent offenders, and if they've been in there for a long time, they should just be released until, if it's especially not murder or things like that, and give them a court date versus people who are actually in there for a crime. Mm-hmm. Because apparently there's something very bad going on, and some type of internal investigation needs to be launched, because they wouldn't just be out there risking their freedom even more. You know, they're crying to be heard right now.
Right.
Like, it's really sad. Like, it's really sad and disgusting. I think someone was in there having breathing problems and couldn't take a bath, and it's just really bad up there apparently. I don't know. I want to.
This is at the St. Louis.
This is at the St. Louis Justice Center.
If you go on Real STL News on your Facebook page,
yes, look it up.
Look Real STL News on your Facebook page for people that don't live in St. Louis. Yes. You can be able to really track that story more from the videos and everything.
And I think it's even on the news stations, but it's like really bad. I'm pretty sure the conditions have to be bad, because they've been fighting. People who have been in there have been making complaints about that for years now, but now it's bad because they haven't been able to get a court date because of COVID. It kind of stopped everything. I don't know. It's pretty sad. I feel bad for them people. I'm saying not the people who are in there for bad things. That's one thing, but people who are in there for non-violent crimes, it's pretty sad. Like, they're slowly opening up the economy, and yet these people have not had a court date yet. Wow. You know, like, if courthouses are opening back up, you know what I'm saying? People are going into court. Court dates are not being thought out. These people should be getting some type of court date, and they're just kind of being stuck in there. It's kind of sad. Some of them are being treated like animals who probably shouldn't even been in there more than a week. I'm just going to be honest.
Wow. All right. So that's your what the hell moment. Yeah. What the hell they doing at the workhouse?
Where's the food? Like, where's the food for these people? Like, they're saying that they don't have food to eat.
Wow.
And why the hell the showers aren't working? Like, they take a bath, yes, you need a shower. Yeah, right. That's sad. It's sad.
Now, if I was in prison, I wouldn't take no shower. It's just, if it is with me, you're gonna have to.
Why would you not take a shower?
I'm not doing nothing to look appealing to nobody. I'm not washing.
You're afraid you're gonna drop the soap?
I'm not dropping nothing because I ain't gonna be in there with it. I'm not washing. Who I got to impress? Ain't no women in here. I'm not doing.
A lot of places have to get rid of their gang showers.
I'm with you, Christorian.
I'm not doing nothing. I ain't got nobody to impress in here. Who you looking good for?
I'm never wiping my ass. I'm never
ever shaving nothing.
Wait a minute, Mr. Anonymous Nobody. He said he ain't wiping no ass.
You want some of this ass? You got to get through all this.
You have to go through some. You have to go through some things to get it.
Hey, you got to get through the mud. Hey,
I might start using this finger paint. I might just.
Hey, you got to get through the mud. Hey, one time, man, my son, he was in first grade.
That's a what the hell, Chris.
My son. Hey,
that is a what the hell.
My son was in first grade, man. And one of his friends, they, first grade and kindergarten, they all go to the bathroom together. Mm-hmm. So they was all peeing. And then I came to pick him up. He said, Mr. Powell. I said, what's up, Devontae? He said, I think David got mud in his drawers. I said, he got mud in his drawers. I said, how the hell he got mud in his drawers? He said, because I got mud in mine. I said, oh my God. So you gonna assume my son got that's why his ass itching or something, huh? He got mud in his drawers.
And that's when little kids put their pants all the way down to the floor to go to the urinal. Remember that? Like, put their pants all the way down. Girls don't gotta do that. Like, boys stay for the urinal, just be out.
Hey, when we got a squat,
hey man, you ain't gotta do all that to go to the bathroom.
Hey, all the young little kids do it, man. Drop them down to their ankles.
All the way down to their ankle to go to the urinal.
Oh my God.
That is hilarious.
Thank you, Miss Toya, for what the hell moment, man. Hey guys, it's been a great show tonight, man. We want to just send a special thanks out to our guests, Moby the Explorer, Miss Danielle, Mr. Anonymous Nobody. Hey guys, drop your tag. Just let our listeners know, let our viewers know how they can get in contact with you. One more time. Miss Danielle, start it off, sweetie.
You can find my podcast on Anchor, Apple, Spotify. Love Always Wins. And my handle for all of my social media is EyeDonell, EYEDONYELL.
All right.
I'm going to look you up right now.
Yep.
Thank you. What about you, Miss Moby?
You can find me on YouTube at Moby the Explorer. I also have a website where we sell my mother and women in Africa make clothing, and the website is www.beexplorers.com. And I sell women clothing of all sizes. And again, that's
Put it in our chat. Whenever we finish, you can put it in the chat.
Add it to the tag at the bottom of the video.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I love your mama too, Miss Moby.
She loves you. You know that.
You sounded like Chris. You sounded like Christorian.
Okay.
He impeding on my territory right now.
Stop it.
Mine.
Hey, Mr. Anonymous Nobody, tell us how they can get in. Tell our fans how they can get in contact with you.
Yes, the podcast is on YouTube. Just go to search and type in Mr. Anonymous Nobody. I should pop right up on your screen. Been podcasting for about 1.5 years now. On Instagram, I'm Mr. Anonymous _Nobody. That's Mr. Anonymous _Nobody on Instagram. On YouTube, it's just Mr. Anonymous Nobody.
All right. Man, we really appreciate all our guests for this evening, man. Hey, guys, we thank you for tuning in this evening. Hey, you guys don't want to miss it. Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will be live. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but definitely come on in and join us. Be a part of this groundbreaking show. We're going to have some fun. We're going to give you a chance to come in. You can join you're going to be able to join the live podcast with us to voice your opinion and say what's on your mind. Guys,
open that back up to guess my nickname. We can do that out. We'll send out a gift card to anyone that can guess my nickname that's not related to my family.
Bibbs. Hey, guys, we thank you for tuning in.
Somebody
tonight.
Mama.
Somebody grandmama, some great grandmama. Hey, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight, man. We really appreciate it. We the crew, and we out.